Hi everyone, so I'm going to start out with liquid latex. This is from Spirit Halloween. I'm going to take some of that liquid latex and make a line across my arm or wherever you're going to put it. Just make a line across however big you want it to be. And I'm just using a Q-tip to apply this because I found that it's probably the best way and better than a paintbrush. So I'm just going to keep building that latex up just a little bit. So I'm going to wait for it to dry and then I'm going to put another layer. Wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to put another layer. And you want the thickest layer to be in the middle of the line. Next, I'm going to be taking some tissues, and I'm going to rip the tissue into little thin pieces, as thin as the tissue can get. And I'm going to use as many as I feel is needed. For this one, I think I'm only going to use this little piece of tissue. So I'm going to make sure that the latex is nice and sticky. If it's not, then you can just apply another layer of latex. And then you are just going to kind of glue the end of the tissue to the cut. Once you're done gluing the tissue to the entire cut, you're going to layer it. And to layer it, you want to add a little more latex. So I'm just adding more latex here so that the tissue sticks. And then I'm going to fold over the tissue once again. I'm going to fold the tissue as much as needed until the tissue is completely gone, and then I'm going to go back to my latex and I'm going to cover the entire tissue with latex. You want to make sure you put a good amount of latex on this or else the tissue will fall off. So first I'm going to take the latex and make sure that the tissue is nice and flat. And then I'm going to take latex and place it around the tissue so that it doesn't fall off when we cut the tissue open. And also placing the latex around the tissue is going to help give it an effect of a real cut. Then I'm just going to take a couple of extra little pieces of tissue and just place that around the cut. These don't have to be thick. These are not going to be cut open or anything like that. We just want to make sure that the middle of the cut is thick enough where we can cut it open. So I'm just adding a couple more tissues to help make it look a little more real. And then again, I'm going to go back to my latex and add some latex around those tissues and also around the actual cut. Once I'm done with all this ridiculous latex, I'm going to wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to go in with some really small scissors. I know this looks very scary, but I promise I'm not cutting myself. I'm just trying to poke a hole through the tissue / latex. And then once you get a hole in, it's really, really easy to cut. You just kind of need to pull the tissue part away from your skin and then just cut. And this scissor is not sharp at all. It's actually just sharp enough to cut through the tissue. Then you're going to go back to the latex and you're just going to kind of cover up the ends once again. Usually when you cut it, you might accidentally pull the entire latex off of your skin. So you want to make sure that it's nice and glued down before you go ahead with everything else. I'm then going to take my foundation. I believe this is a Maybelline Fit Me foundation. It's a very liquidy foundation. I prefer those just because they blend very well and they get into all the crevices and creases of the tissue. You want to make sure that the entire white part and shiny parts of the latex and tissue are completely covered. So once I'm done covering it, I'm just going to kind of blend it into my skin so that it matches. So here I am just going around the fake cut with a sponge just to blend it out. Once you're done blending it out, you're going to go ahead and get some translucent powder, and you're just going to kind of put that all around the cut, mostly in the actual cut area, and the rest just to blend out the foundation. Then I'm going to go to my 120 color palette from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to be using my Fake Blood as well. And from the BH Cosmetics palette, or any palette for that matter, you're just going to take a very matte, bright red, and you're just going to place that on the inside of the cut. This doesn't have to be exact, but try to get as much of the red inside the cut as you can. Then I'm going to be taking a smaller liner brush, and I'm going to be placing the red directly in the middle of the cut. And then I'm going to be taking a darker brown, and I'm going to be placing this inside the cut, mostly underneath the tissue and the latex. As you can see, I'm keeping it towards the outside of the cut. And this is going to give the illusion of a deep cut. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to be taking some yellows and purples and creating a bruise around the cut. This is just going to help make the cut look a little more realistic. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to be taking a little bit of red as well. Then, for the best part ever, this is the number one part of this tutorial. You need to have fake blood. Fake blood absolutely makes this. So I'm going to be taking the fake blood and placing it inside of the cut, and I'm also going to be using it to drip down the cut as well to make it a little more gory. And then I'm going to be placing some on the side and just kind of rubbing it too. And then you are all finished with the fake cut. I hope you ladies enjoy, and happy Halloween!